Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
Relationships and marriages. It can still be beautiful, it can still be good, it can still be pretty, and that be aimed at building beautiful relationships and marriages. And you better take a seat and make up your mind that yours will be beautiful. You will work at it. Remember, yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody. Remember that there is no one size fit all. We always have to find the root cause of your challenges, and then you can have specific communication problem in somebody's relationship or in somebody's marriage. You also could be having communication problems. But trust me, just because you and your partner are different from partner B, the approach to dealing with that may not be the same. The principle, I just want us to know that. But ultimately, we want our homes to be beautiful, and that's the focus. And this morning, it's one of the areas that's so challenging in relationships and marriages. And you need to be submissive. What does it even? We all not need respect. Do we all not need to be submissive to our partners? In essence, showing our partners respect. Do we all not need it? So we will be looking at, we have come to think, believe that it is the woman who is supposed to have come to believe that if you're a woman and you have a very good standing in society, maybe you are a business owner, you're a CEO, you are in a place of authority, then your marriage cannot work, because automatically, and look at some people who have made theirs work regardless. And then you and I will be able to, I said, building beautiful relationships and marriages. And just by way of encouraging you this morning, everybody needs a friend like mine, King, in their lives. You know, you need a friend like by. We had a meeting and the person was close by. Some way, somehow, he dealt with a problem with me. He cried with me. He could feel you, and at the end of it all, encouraged you, such that by the time he calls you a friend, if somebody calls you a friend, you should be able to live up to that friendship. It's a high status for me. For me, it is the apex of any relationship you can have with anybody. So for you to be able to call your partner and say, my partner is my friend, my sister is my friend, my brother, friendship for granted, especially if someone sees you at that. Don't take it for granted. It's a beautiful place to be. So choose to be a friend to that person who considers you a friend. It's always a beautiful place to be. That's just how I want to encourage you this morning. I am smiling this morning, excited, and here, being able to share this with you, guests to you, and then we will be delving into the subject of love for relationships and marriages.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Ediane dede yeko shadia onga chicken tablet why me do why me do why me do onga chicken tablet get this to me onga chicken tablet cook on who give me.
Introducing the new Onga Chicken Tablet.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
To clean an LPG tank, fill the tank with water. This forces out the remaining gas in the tank. Then release the water. The cleaner should wear appropriate protective clothing such as gas mask, goggles, boots, and gloves. LPG tanker vehicle storage tanks should be inspected regularly for rust and damages. Service providers should be called in when a defect is detected. A message from the National Petroleum Authority.
Hooray! Day. The Ghana Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana is 100 years. Hallelujah.
Join us in celebrating the goodness of God in the life of the Ghana Presbytery for the past 100 years.
And hymnal quiz,
Youth Rally and Heritage Trail for children and junior youth,
symposia and lecture series,
candlelight procession and fun games,
prayer and music festival,
awards and dinner night,
and a mega Thanksgiving service at the Independence Square. So come on, join us to celebrate Christ. Tell
Thank you very much for joining us. If you're just joining us, actually, it's Home Affairs here on Joy99.7 FM and also on Joy Prime Instagram, I am sure, YouTube as well. And so you can join us on all these platforms, depending on which one is very available and accessible to you. Now, very beautiful relationships out there. And we know that every day, now weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday affair, depending on which day works for you, sometimes it's also to cut down cost. But the essence is that people are getting married every single day. And you don't want people going into marriage and then coming back after 2 days, because sometimes you really haven't prepared for the journey. Are we even able to prepare through and through and say that sometimes you will have to seek help as you go on the journey? But our mandate is to make homes out of houses. So we are going to focus seriously on that this year. And when was this? I think it was on Monday that I had a call from a friend of mine. And I posted it on Facebook. She says, Adam, I am so excited. I'm like, okay, I'm happy for you. Go on. Then she says, you don't understand, right? Like, this guy can call me, distracts me whilst I am at work, send me she says how she does what? She sets his mind and body on fire. And so he sent a note with details. just to excite her, and she's so happy that she says the way my husband looks at me, those desirous looks and all the things he says, he's just started flowing into my inbox. But they won't do it anymore. The first one said that get things going, and to start with, she ordered for some new things were for young girls and young wives. An old woman like you, what are you doing with this? You actually just turned me off with what you're wearing. And just walk. My husband can't even appreciate the efforts I am trying to make. She actually said, wearing matching dress and bra. The guy says, nah, it won't work. And, it's a movie. I said, it's not a movie. All of these are sitting in my inbox. That they've been married for just a year. And in that 1 year, husband has cheated on her. With six old girlfriend B was coming back to town from Abuchi and had decided to, make time for her. And is not well. I get up, I make meals for you. And she says sometimes and that's been going on for a week. That was after the man confessed everything. This day she went to work and decided that she didn't decide. She went for a meeting in town. So she opened the gate, got to the house. Husband didn't realize it because apparently she went straight to their bedroom. He was asleep, naked, with this other woman, naked, in room to sit down. And they woke up after almost an hour. The only thing she said to the husband was that you deserve to be happy, and everything that makes you happy, you should do it. I don't think I make you happy. And so she said she didn't cry. There's no need explaining anything. I'm done. And she said she's comforted. Why? The hotel tells me that I am of no value to you, and that is the reason I won't continue with this. She says she deserves better and she's filed for a divorce. And this breaks my heart. I'm going on and on with this because you will get a lot more of those. And rather you get people telling you that we try, but it's just not working. We try. It's not like we don't try, but it's just not working. And there are we will continue on this tangent for the whole year. And this morning we have chosen to talk about one aspect that is also very critical all the time. Afi, I'm sure you have heard last week when you shared a bit, and Kofi as well. Kofi's wife, as I am learning, pastors a big church. So, and I want to find out from Kofi if you submitting to you and loving you such that you don't feel she's low. She sits here, she gives it to the men left, right. I mean, I think somebody actually even called one day and said, this woman power. So, yeah, but she says not respectful, one who is not humble, and how, how do you manage these things? Mother, of mommy feminist, hard woman. I want to find out from you. I'm starting with you. When we talk about a woman being...
All right, thank you very much, Adam. This is a very thorny conversation. As you're not Christian only, but if you're not religious, because it's also transcend into other religions, and you've not stood up to the concept of submission, I want to say that it is okay to interrogate that concept. To break perception that there's a spiritual part, I can't say boy, husband, and wife, to interrogate the concept of submission and see how it even applies in your... Some theologians do it, and how even simple Google gives us the Greek word. And this would, in Christian perspective, there's the I don't know if it is a man who covers you, but there's a covering. Is like, like the shield and takes the attack. Or in physical defense also, there is a covering. You want to interrogate the two. The other thing I want to say about the concept of submission is that if we come to, as I said, the practice of it in your home, I want us to look at scenarios. Look, if I am married and my husband, that he's generous. Generous is great. But there are people who are so generous that they can lift their money to another before they realize that they need that money for something. If you're in a relationship that you have such a person, and for the other person which practice management of the family funds, it's okay that he can use what he's allocated for himself. Also, in my concept, in my view, have a right to even make mistakes and learn. But do you keep quiet for his careless generosity to impact? That is one. And it is both ways for me. I don't say this to only the men. If I love to buy on the other person's side, or even if, growing children, a scenario of growing children, screaming at children, unable to speak gently, that's how he takes care of children.
Yeah.
In the name of submission, do you keep quiet and see
him?
that? And I say to your children, not asking you alone, but you and your children handing over. You can see the handing over of a generational toxicity. That submission, the husband will change, and you're being looking change the husband. I don't see that happening. Because I think that faith are doing is wrong. What you are doing is wrong. Then it's not going to happen. You will pray, but the Holy Spirit will let you know that there is work you have to do of having followed the preaching into the woman does not have submission is not being every progressive definition over time, if I can use that, of submission. Makes me the definition of submission and the practical concept of submission in the home and the impact. There is a negative impact of submission. Our parents hand over toxic attitude to children because the other has to look on and see, and this goes into abuse. Christian people who marry, and we are likely to say that we are submissive when really there's no atmosphere as spiritually, because we have told our mind that we are submissive, is submission. And so if another person is having really tough time to go on.
Yes.
So a woman wants to lose weight. That the gym, people will touch my wife, she's going to be looking this way in the gym because gym outlooks impacts the woman more than it impacts the husband.
Exactly.
But the husband, she cannot go to the gym.
Because she's being submissive.
Because she's being submissive.
And that ultimately translates into you loving your husband.
Yes. Now, the truth of that situation is that she loses joy. If you're almost at home and you need to exercise, for example, to be able to run things, you cannot do things. You are not too well. Everything culminates into you. In this conversation, you realize that we have seen many of our mothers being dead women walking. Now that submission, the concept of submission has been used as a tool to whip their mothers into dying while they are living, and they rise against it. I think the church's responsibility means for the church, when the church says a woman should
Now, what I get is, right, from the scenarios you gave, has the problem been how to go about it? Have you?
The women will have to be soft-spoken. In Peter, when Sarah says, when it says that,
husband, my Lord.
yes, that she calls her husband my Lord, for example, and then there's a spirit. But you see, the beauty of God's creation, demeanor is whose temperament makes them quiet. We are not all quiet, but that does not mean that we can all not be respectful of life. And so, if you see a heated conversation, for example, I had the tendency to withdraw when there is conversation that's hard. And I thought that was me being peeved to sit in the conversation. And so that might not necessarily be how you put it. It is important your ego.
That's it.
And the essence of it. And know when to appreciate also. But we are sitting here because we are shaking our egos to get to a destination. And that destination is for our common good.
Correct.
And so do not, in my view as a man,
Mama T.
Good morning. Beautiful sister.
To you now, finding you to put yourself in the picture, how have you practiced that concept of this marriage, this home that you and the entire family is proud of?
Great. Good morning again to everybody who is listening to us, and I am grateful to God. I feel started well. It is believed that the African is notoriously religious, so strongly spoken about that submit. Then I answered, just the way the part of scripture which says that to wrath, not even to anger, but to wrath. To wrath, because our society's world, and I am surprised that it is the more quiet you are, the more something is happening and you are saying nothing. I know. So most often, Islam, Africa traditional religion, everything plus church. Submission, the fear of God. Then as we journey on, the Bible begins to allocate what each partner should do. Husbands, love your wives. Christ loved the church, wives, and gave himself for her. Now, I noticed that, I won't go into what Afi has already said, but I noticed that even in the church, even getting married to whoever, the difficulty I still find in the Christian community is still the male, the egocentric male who wants to put himself out there. And
when they are looking for submission in their wives, what are they looking for? Practically, what are they looking for? They are looking
for when I can talking. And
so when the man is talking, you are not supposed to talk. Okay.
So or when I have said, right, at the end of the day, for the sake of peace, you have to go down, lost your mind. You have lost your independence. You have lost your abilities. You have lost everything that.
I get it now.
As long as you are quiet. In fact, the husband is insulting his wife, saying many bad things, and the woman decides to walk away, like a few would walk away, and say, "You see, I told you are very disrespectful. Whilst I am talking, you are walking." That men and women both have egos. We do. It's just that we as women have been trained. I believe in the submission, which does not throw
So,
one
Mamati,
person.
how do you practice it?
Right. So this is how I practice it. When I got married to Osofo, Osofo and I have been very. If I were would laugh, we were in a church and we were members of a prayer team. So Osofo would always come by my house and call me and Sani Wari Nipa. And apparently he's saying that na me ko apenda ne okono then. So marriage started. Our marriage has been a very beautiful one because from the beginning, Osofo did not. Well, this kind of submission, ding, was not part of his whole thing. Okay. So it gets into my ears. once won't stick, right? So it's just at home. I mean, every did that basa. So when I came in, I had to be told, do it this way. I learned crying. I learned throwing tantrums. I learned everything. But after 7, I had back. But my only difficulty is that I cannot stand when you are disturbing someone. I can't stand it. I cannot take it when you feel that because of position, because of whatever, somebody must be. I don't understand. And I will certainly work again.
Really even wasn't the type.
Yes. So it was fine. In fact, our beginning was fine. We sit, we talk. Me and Osofo, we talk. We can talk. Granted that he is listening to you or this or that. Everything we need to talk about it. We need to sit. And so that is that we were a very close pair. So that is how we have done it over time. When we were transferred from, he noticed that I can talk. So he said, you are a talk, not like a talker, you can talk. I want you to build this part of you so that you would be able to help. So he gave me a lot of together. There were times when he would tell me, my means here is that I have gone to school, I have learnt, I understand, and so what will I do? Let me use what I have to help you do that. Allowed me a lot of space, including bringing me sometimes to Joy FM. He would drive. I've been talking about it. I am happy. So that is about it. Not too many wives have this. No, not too many. Come at you. No, you didn't have to do it like this. You didn't have to say it like this. And I understand that part also. I also noticed that Osofo is bumping into each other. There are quite a number of times we have cholericism has rubbed off on me a lot. And so there are too many times we have bumped into each other, and believed that whenever there's a rift at home, the solution. Sometimes it's difficult to resolve, but let's meet at a point and reconcile. And I'm always the first person to go like, he will just be quiet. He'll be there. He will just make sure that you know. I say, so that is when he was very little. And so that he's the only person who deserves respect. And so respect means that that I don't want to go into further. One rationalizes respect as love. And I am wondering, do women want to be disrespected? No. Do women want to be? At times, you see, in a home, there are times God has made you the head. There are times in the headship that somebody else plays a leadership role. And that is, look at it this way. How in a company, in an organization, there is the MD. There are other line managers so that they can help them do things. The fact that you are a husband does not mean you are the only. It will interest you to know I have met very, very, very super intelligent women in lead. She is saying that I want you to lead, so I'll follow your lead. I am following your lead. And just like Aku said, then I have to come in and tell you that, Papa, I think that where we are going, we may encounter a lot of difficulty. If you say that you are the head, in my thinking as a human being, I said that this submission means that I have willingly decided to put my independence down and allow you to lead.
I asked Afi a question. I asked
this life. But so there are two ways to it. In this life, it is always about how you are saying what you are saying. You have a rest this is what it is. Whether I put sugar on it, I put milk on it, I put icing on it. At the end of the day, I am when we have financial managers at home, and our husbands are the financial this headship thing, and I said that women want leaders. Every wife wants to have a husband as a leader who understands it. So they are not asking for any suggestion. No, listen, it is not about I don't know if you have not heard it. See, I'm bad. I'm going to say crazy.
But I think that
at the end of the day, you impact on each other. But you see, this love. Look at this woman who went to buy nice lingerie. Is that the name? And then the husband go like matching panties,
draws and bra.
and look at it. Every woman wants to be absolutely.
We all want.
But see, we are building, and I like how you put it. It is we are build. Let's build with decorum. Both of us love. Both of us love me. Let me love you back.
We're getting somewhere with this. I'm sure that if you're home, you're taking notes and asking yourself, okay, me, I want marriage, relationship. I sum it up in two, the Bible verses. Know that if you're trampling on somebody, you're insulting them, you're belittling them,
Empathy.
Would I like it?
Yes.
If your answers are no, most likely the other person won't like it.
Truth, Adam, I am taking the wind out of your sail. Yesterday, this is what I was telling a man and his wife. And see, if all what you were doing, if it turns towards you, how would you feel?
Exactly.
In 5 minutes, we had finished solving the problem.
I want to feel good. I want to go to the gym. I want to be healthy. I want to be this. If I love for them too, this good only accrues to me and does not accrue to my partner. 0302216541 on homes. How does it play out? It would be good to know how these play out in your home. Whilst I wait for your phone call, and I was asking if we have Kofi on the studio to come and discuss the subject. It's not fair like that. We don't have Kofi. Okay. Now, do you know about the new delicious? Oh yes, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Create those amazing moments with your favorite Onga seasoning, no matter in your meal. So let's toast to the new Onga beef tablet and Onga stew tablet with superior taste and Instagram and Twitter. Yum Vita wishes to thank you for patronizing our products, especially the new member. That's the 350-gram block bottom pack. Thank you for your support during the past year. May this new year bring lots of cheer as we from Fan Milk. As part of word adjustment in big size Fun Yogo Strawberry, that's the 145 mils, Fun Choco 145 mils, Fun Ice 145 mils, Fandango 170 mils, all have moved to 1 CD 50 pesos instead of at 2 CDs. Kindly check all our special, spanning over half a century, and we continue to assure the general public of its unwavering commitment to providing quality, nutritious, and delicious on-the-go refreshment. 3-2. Oh, unfortunately, but you can send in your messages. I honestly want to know how this plays out in your home. So our phone line at 11997 055 1111997, and you can also post on Facebook. We will get it and read it. And how is it impacting the relationship? How difficult? Talking both ways, you know. And you know that you know that there are some women who are very foul-mouthed too, right?
Oh yes.
Yes. There are some women. The person will just get up and start dishing out. There are men who are afraid to go home because of what they will be met with at home. We just need to have in as much as we're saying that, look, yes, submission, that's a problem of it's partnership. Yes. You respect me, I respect you. And it doesn't have to be the man respecting you first. You know, anybody can take.
Is insisted. There's no love. Bible says that you're having this rift of who is what, whether one feels oppressed or. Please, give yourself on what is happening. And give yourself the permission to let go when you notice truly that you're only stroking your own egos both ways. There are times when you know that it make because you are fighting for your ego.
Yeah. That's all.
And that's all. And when you get to that point, it's important to come to the compromise to say that, you know what, reasons and when I say this, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm saying that if, for example, I have a master's program or a PhD program abroad, and we don't even apply. And most often, we've got to be frank. Most by herself, within herself. Now, she brings a conversation up of saying that, you know what, one of my milestones in life is to have a PhD. And then husband says, but you are, maybe we can go with a 45, since it looks like 45 to school again, and things like that. Sometimes, you know, submission does not come as blatant authority over you. It comes in. The person is not putting fire, as we call fire, on you, but the person is watering you down, and that's the impact that happens sometimes. And so it ends there. But let's say that you've even taken the bold, and then I heard this also on radio, I think just yesterday or so. Then there's the perception that you can't go me. Like, we are married, the marriage that we say is lifetime. We use egos and temporary feelings to take and come back and things like that. And so you realize that such egos are the reason sex issues. It's just ego. It's just the feeling that, why are you going? And how to inform you, not necessarily ask your permission. Because adults of you,
you definitely will want to fight to take it back. Mama T, I want to ask this question. And we go naked in front of each other, right? And we make love, we have sex, and that's the deepest thing I feel you can have with anybody, giving you yourself.
Oh, at that place there is no ego, and sometimes people who have too much ego, even there, show their idea. Yapa is when my husband would come. She said she has a job, an 8 to 5 job.
What does it mean?
Like, lie down well, I want to come and have sex with you. So he's not even being nice about beautiful, something always. At a point, lose our right completely to each other.
Yes.
But if you don't want to lose yours to somebody, even there are times when men or women think that this is my place and you have to give me. There are some homes where we can't even negotiate about this thing. If it is not
end up in that marriage?
If it is not that, Adam, why would a man want to come to have sex and then he's not turning to the woman to find out how did it go with you? But he turns to his but
that's not where we are going.
You know, right? The boring one. We won't go there today. Lots of ladies, wives who are so disrespectful. I mean, sometimes even at that place, the wish when it has to do with just the two of you.
In fact, Danielle, I'd like you to note this down. We will be having that conversation sometimes. How do people end? Still part of the conversation. So it didn't start like we are copulating. I will still be told, do this and do that, and maybe you want to just speak on this for me. I've heard people say, I don't want my abilities before your partner, be it you, the man or the woman. What's wrong with it? This is you're supposed to be the closest person to me. You should be able to lay it before you.
It comes from, in my view, the simple reason that your vulnerability is used against you.
Then it's fine.
Then it becomes easy for you to even be, you know. That statement I make is not to excuse people, but it is to say an openness to which is supposed to paint the relationship between God and Christ and the church and this. So if the other partner being quiet all the time, it comes with your other spouse, especially your wife, to make you better. And I want to say these simple things before we close. One is that patriarchs of the church that Christ gave to women out of them, and they would have to look at how they preach submission.
Great, thank you very much. It's what people demand when they are talking about submission. I kept saying, I didn't know that one. I hope you have learned a thing or two. And the boss is, you're stressing your subordinate. It impacts every aspect of your life. So why don't we just try, work it through, understand it, do unto you, so that we all can have some peace in our homes. My name is Adam Nightstay. This morning, my guest, I've got a special case of love, submission, and respect. We all need it through and through. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you next week with. Between now and the end of February, actually this year, our